Hey, it's Alicia Bake from the VO Booth Besties, and you're listening to the VO Life with Troy Holden.
Ho, ho, ho!
Hey, welcome back. It is the VO Life. Here we are in December, and we are in our second Arctic blast here in Tennessee. Man, it's cold. It's down it's the middle of the day, and it's down in the low 20s, and we're supposed to be down in the teens tonight, and man, it's too early for this. It's just way too early. It's my belief that people were coming from Canada to go to the Sovis Awards, and they left the door open, and all that cold air just came on down, and that's what happened, I'm pretty sure. But here we are at the end of the year, and I want to talk about rates today and pay-to-play stuff and just some things that are really heavy on my mind, because if you'd have backed me up in time 4 years ago, I would have been the person on the other side not paying attention to a lot of this. And I want to thank Paul Smith, who put out a course on rates that I got maybe 3 years ago. It's been quite a while, which was one of the things that opened my eyes. Thank you, Paul, for that. I also want to thank Gravy for the Brain. That was another place that made me pay attention. But I want to tell you, I really heavily rely on GVAA. Their site, the ability to quickly look something up. And the more you live in that, and the more you read it, and the more you repeatedly look at it, the quicker you become at being able to reply. Now, let me start out by saying this. Pay-to-plays is one outlet for voice actors. It's just an outlet. There are a lot of people who don't like them. They don't use them. They don't need them. And I think that's fantastic. But when you're a novice and you're in your first few years, you are trying to build on top of your direct marketing, on top of everything you're doing. You're trying to build a repeat business or some clientele where you have a base. And then if you're able to add agents and you're able to book those type jobs down the road and they pay much more, those are your bonuses. And having that solid base of business is what I preach, is getting that solid base and holding on to it. Can you get that from pay to play? You absolutely can, but you have to go into this, in my opinion, and my opinion is going to vary from other people who have been on there a while. My opinion is you have to go in there with the preface of trying to get people off that platform, which on Voice 123, it's fine. They're yours. You can do that. But on voices.com, they are not. You are saying that you will only work with them on the platform. However, if that client comes and finds you off the platform and approaches you for work down the road, it is what it is, so that's kind of the ultimate play. So let me go back to this. The words pay to play, and I would like to stop saying that. I want to call these online casting platforms, or OCPs, or whatever you want to say, because they're not a place to play. You should not go on there just to have auditions to do, because there's a lot of serious voice actors out there making a good amount of money on both those sites. A lot of solid folks. Now, let me say this. They are likely getting a lot of private invites on voices.com or booking directly, repeatedly with the same people on that platform or even off the platform. Depends on how they're playing that game. But let's take out pay to play, because we need to call it online casting, and we need to say we're not going to go there just to play. You need to be prepared to compete if you are going on these platforms, because this is no joke, folks. There's some people on there who are excellent at what they're doing, way ahead of me. They've been on there for years, and they're making a lot of money on these platforms. So newer voice actors who get on there and take the seasonal special, and they're running that again now, I'm sure, or they usually do. You're getting on there for cheap for a year, and you're auditioning like crazy. You're not booking anything. You're just auditioning wildly. Don't do that. Make sure you're ready. Are you coached up? Is your audio up to par? Have you had all this checked out? Don't get on there and start throwing auditions out into the wild until you know everything is ready. You're ready. You've got all your samples, your profile is filled out properly. Be sure all of that is done correctly before you get on, before you start auditioning, because you're just going to dig a deeper hole, especially on Voice 123. Although they have made changes to how they are looking at your likes, it is still a game of likes. And it is what it is when it comes to when you see jobs and how you see jobs and what you got to pay to see jobs and what your percent of ranking is and all that on 123. VDC is a little different, but I still say it's not a place to play. You got to be ready. Your game has got to be up there, and you just got to, you got to be ready. So no more pay to play. These are now online casting platforms. Online casting platforms. We're not going on there to play around. All right. So like I said, seasoned members, they're getting a lot of private invites, likely direct bookings. And remember, VDC wants to keep that client on that platform. It's their client, and they want to keep them there. All right. So let's talk about the pitfalls that happen on VDC, voices.com. What are the pitfalls that I see daily? And there's a couple that I want to talk about. And remember, we're talking about rates/usage, not just a rate to read something that's 30 seconds. If you go in with that mentality and say, well, it's $250 and it's just a little 30-second thing, and I don't even have to do a live direct or anything. So that doesn't mean it's a good deal, because they love to put everything on there worldwide in perpetuity. You have got to avoid that. You have got to push back. Read usage carefully. This is a self-service platform, and these buyers are willy-nilly choosing usage to cover their own ass. They don't care about yours. They don't. So let's just say you go on there and do something for, and I'm just going to pick something out of the blue, an outdoor company that has lawnmowers, because I saw something about that today, and you're talking about their service and blah, 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 and it's an outdoor company. Let's say they sell outdoor equipment, lawnmowers and such. What if in 2 years you have the opportunity to audition for and you win a national account for Toro? And they dig into your background and they find this and they find out it's in perp, and they go, I'm sorry, we can't use you. You're already on another platform. You're already doing outdoor equipment and it's in perpetuity, so we can't use you. That can happen. I'm not saying it will happen. They may not find it because it's a crap job, but they could. And especially if you put the logo or the name of the company on your website, they may go into that and ask, are you still working with them? What did that entail? Don't think they won't ask. They will. So because it's a self-service platform, the buyers choose what's easy to cover their butt. We're going to run it a year, maybe two. Let's just pick in perpetuity and worldwide. Who cares? And that's what they do. All right. So they need to be educated, and it's your job to educate them sometimes if you have time. If this is a fit for you and you really want this job, you can explain that in your submission, in your, when you send that in. You can word all that out, that this is a placeholder price and we need to discuss the usage, and, I don't do broadcast in perpetuity. You can do all of that. You may not book the job. They may pass you right over, or they may hear you because you put the price they were asking in the thing, but you say in your proposal, I can't do it for that price, but I'd like to discuss it with you if you like my voice. I would rather do that than put the actual price of what it should be in there and then put it in the explanation, because they're never going to get past the price. One I saw yesterday had like a $200, $250 price on it, and I'm telling you, this was a $9,000 job. It said 2 to 3 spots worldwide. They were saying in perp, but even if you just go for a year, you're looking at $3,000 to $3,500 plus each. So you're at $9-10 grand low end 7,500, whatever. What I'm saying is they may know and they're trying to get away with it, or they may not know. Now, I will tell you, a good friend of mine has gotten in conversations with clients many times over issues like this. And once he explains it to them, they go, well, we didn't know that. And they go back and review their budget, and he may tell them, you're only at 20% of what this should be. You're going to have to get up closer to 80%. And, 80% of the top end will get you in that range on GVAA usually. It may be down closer to the lower end of the range, but you're going to get in the range. And he negotiates that all the time. He's just excellent at it. And soon, we are hoping we'll have a course, or we'll be presenting at some of the conferences on how to do this the right way. But tiptoeing now, what I want to tell you is you have got to put that wordage in there. If you want to go after it because you say, this is a great fit for me, do that. Put their price in the box, but put in your proposal, the price is only a placeholder. We will need to discuss usage and rate. And if they like your voice, they'll reach out to you and say, hey, we really did like it. You mentioned something about the rate before we book you. Well, can we get on a Zoom call and get on and explain it to them and show them the GVAA website if you need to. You can negotiate. Never do broadcast in perpetuity. Okay? Never. Don't do it. If it says non-broadcast in perpetuity, who cares? It's going on their website or whatever. It doesn't matter. That's fine. Let them have it. And believe me, that's a lot less of a rate. At that point, you are getting into a lower price, a much lower price. What if your studio minimum is $250? I'm not doing anything, under $250. And you look at this and it's a 1.5 minute read and you go, I'll do that for $250. It's just going on their website. That's fine. You can do that. But you're not going to do that for a paid ad, a positioned broadcast ad. Even if it's a local broadcast ad, it's going to be, a lot of times more than what they're putting up there. And you can look that up. Is it just radio? Is it just going on radio and local TV? What size is the market? Is it a major market, a large city? That adds money. Go into GVAA and learn how to navigate it and use it. It is your voice over Bible for quoting. Yes, you can use Gravy for the Brain. It's very accurate, very similar. It's easy to navigate in, but pick whichever one you want to use. Keep it handy on your desktop where you can pop it up and look at it. And over time, you'll get to where you can do this mostly without looking. But please read that usage carefully. Remember, those are self-service platforms and the buyers are willy-nilly choosing. All right? And make sure you have a working relationship with these GVAA rates. No broadcast in perp. You are allowed to negotiate. Non-broadcast in perpetuity is okay. However, let me say this in addition to that. Anytime it says that, and I have in every proposal that I send out in voices.com, that my voice can only be used on this project only and no other way, it cannot be used for TTS or AI, and I will ask you to sign an AI writer if you book me. Every time. Every time. Don't ever do even the non-broadcast short stuff because it doesn't take a lot to build an AI model. And then they'll use all your project there, and they will build an AI model there, and then they're using something very similar to your voice on all their internal stuff for nothing. Don't do that. Don't allow it. Not that you'll ever catch them, but they sign something, and that'll usually stop people from doing it because they know they signed a legal document. Another thing I want to encourage you to do if you are on voices.com and Voice123, you can do the same. Be sure you have your proposal or your replies structured for some of these situations. I have about 4 different ones I use. One is saying, I absolutely will not do broadcast in perpetuity. Anything that's a paid ad, no. And I have one that just says, your rate is below industry standard, yada, yada, yada. I have another one that kind of says, hey, thank you for allowing me to audition. Thank you for choosing the proper rates for the usages, patting them on the back. And then I have a generic one that, for the stuff that doesn't matter, just kind of, hey, I'll get it to you quickly. I'll this, kind of a sales pitch. But I spend most of my reply tokens on the one that says your usage is off, because most of the time they are. Now, you're going to feel like it's a big waste of time. I don't want to have to educate them. They need to learn. But if we don't do it and they don't hear it and see it, they may not, and they're going to continue to do it. And some of these buyers, they know what they're doing. They're trying to knock the bottom out of it. They're thinking, it only takes them a few minutes to read that. But what they don't realize is they're paying for your years of experience, your equipment, your training, your coaching, all the things you've done. Plus, they are also paying for that usage. And they can't pay you enough for in-perp, especially for broadcast. There's not enough money for that because it could kick you out of other jobs. Another thing is, have you ever looked at the process for posting a job on voices.com or Voice123? You can go in there and post a job, or you can get to the point of posting it and back out. Then you can be familiar with what that buyer is seeing as they go through it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's real easy to willy-nilly pick. Now, I have sent maybe 2 emails in the last few weeks to voices.com. One requesting they have focus groups involving 5 to 10 voice actors per session for maybe 30 minutes, and let us give them some feedback on what we're tired of running into on the self-service side. Yes, their managed services thing, they say they do this, that, and the other, and maybe they do, but I don't think they do that great of a job on those. I think there needs to be more education, and I also think enough of us need to be squawking to say, get rid of. Take the option away from the buyer to do anything broadcast in perpetuity. Take it off the table. Well, the last reply I got actually this morning said, we have lots of great changes coming in 2025, and I think you're going to be happy with it. Well, I hope so, because most of the stuff they've promised and done, I haven't been super happy with. But I have to admit, I make a pretty decent amount of money every year on voices.com. Voice123, I'm rebuilding there because I wrecked and could not get out of the 50% percentile. I'm now up in the top 20, and I'm about ready to up my game on there in January and do better there. But I suffered on there because I over-auditioned and I was not getting the favorites, and I just kept dropping. Now I'm very picky about what I audition for. I'm in the low tier, the $3.95 tier. I'm in the top 20%. I still see the auditions way too late, but if it's something I'm a fit for, I'll go ahead and audition for it, and I'll get shortlisted a few times a week. So I'm maintaining that 20%, so it's probably time to jump back into the 888 pool, and that's probably what I'll do in January. But back to it, yes, you can go in there and post a job or go through the steps of posting it and see how it works. I've posted a job on there and gotten auditions. I didn't have to close it. I just never did award it on Voice123, but I wanted to see, A, how the process worked, B, how many auditions would I get, and C, how good would they be? And it was interesting. I had some very good auditions. Some were from people that I knew their name. A lot of people I didn't know their name. Most of the audio was good. There was a few that were not good. There were some that just sent me a demo and didn't do a custom audition, and it was a lot of the things of not following direction. But overall, it was a pretty easy experience, and I was satisfied with what I got back. I didn't execute the job. It was something that I was not going to execute, but I just wanted to try it, and I learned. It was a good thing. But like I said, you can walk it through and cancel it just to see how it works. but you can also see how easy it is to go willy-nilly and ask for in perpetuity for everything. Another thing that I want to say is please help us educate others who are not as far along as you are. Maybe you're a year in, 2 years in, 3 years in, way further than me. Help you guys that are in this for 10, 15 years are the ones I'm getting all this education from. You are the ones saying, look at this, don't do this, don't do this. Help us hold the industry high. And I want to do that. So I want to ask all of us that are at the 5-year and less, we've got to let those people know coming in, you don't give it away. You got to know your worth. You have to get educated. You have to get good at this before you even start. And it's like being a doctor or a lawyer. You have to do the education and the things and quote unquote pass the test before you start working. And then when you do go to work in it, you're on somewhat of an equal level with everyone else in a way. You're not as experienced. You'll have to earn that experience, but at least you're on a more of a level playing field of those coming in, whereas you're not on an unlevel playing field because this guy's out there and he's not bad at what he's doing. But he'll do it for $50 and it should be $500, or he'll do it for $250 and it should be $9,000. And it happens every day. And I know we all want to work, but we also have to realize we don't need to lower the bar every time a job gets booked at 1/10 of the going rate. Stop doing that. And also realize that, yes, you can negotiate without being offensive and aggressive. How do you do that? One way, and you heard it on a podcast not long ago with Charles Coates and I talked to Vince LaBica. Hey, that job's priced at about 10% of what I normally get for a job like that. Could we negotiate? I can't do that in perp for any type of broadcast work, but for X dollars, I could offer you 13 weeks of usage, or for X dollars, I could offer you 1 year with a renewal. Or you just delete the job and move on and let it go. The thing is, you don't need to think, well, I left that money on the table. I left that $500 on the table. If you do that $5,000 job for $500, you're not only leaving the $5,000 on the table, and you would have got the $250 if you'd have cheaped, but you're tearing down what we're all working for. And you're going to say, but I want to work. I got to get jobs on my resume. I got to be able to tell people I've done, I did this, I did this, I did this. You can do some lower paid work to get your skills going, but do things like audiobooks and YouTube narrations, YouTube channels. Get in with a guy that puts out 2 or 3 a week on YouTube and do them for $50 each. It's cheap, but it's experience. And it's practice, and you will get some money that you can use to get better coaching to where you can make the $5,000 job. It doesn't mean you're no good if you're not booking yet. You're new, you're novice, maybe you're not pro yet, and I kind of look at myself, I think I'm somewhere between novice and pro. I'm semi-pro. I book some good jobs. I book a few good paying jobs. I still do some of my other lower stuff. I don't cheap out. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm still doing some YouTube channels that pay pretty good, actually. I'm still doing some YouTube outdoor show narrations that pay pretty good. I got a base of business for that kind of stuff. I've got some clients I've had for a while that paid better. I mean, they started out not paying that much, and I kept inching them up year after year. No, you got to pay this. I'd love to keep you as a client, but I've got to go to this. If you can stay with me, great. They've all stayed with me. They haven't yet said, I can't afford this, because they know they're not going to get that same quality. That's what they're buying. They're buying your quality, your voice, your service. You're solving their problem. You make it easy for them. They send you something, you get it right back to them. It's ready to go to air. They don't have to mess with it. You hardly ever have to do a pickup or anything for them because you know them, they know you. Easy. All right? Remember, this takes time. And the path to success is not paved with slashed prices. Know your worth. If you've invested in coaching and you are taking a strong professional approach to your business, and you have a really nice website, you've paid for a demo, and you've done all the base work and you're just trying to get going and trying to start booking better stuff, why damage all that hard work and investment by undercutting the entire community? It doesn't work. And with all that, we all have to have that common ground. Where do we get that? GVAA, gravy for the brain. These rate charts give us all a firm foundation that's common ground. Can I ever quote a little lower than that? Of course you can, but why not stay in the range they use and build a stronger business where you work less and make more? Nobody wants to do 20 or 25 low-paying jobs a week just to get by and make $500 a week. We want to do 2 to 3 jobs a week that make us a lot of money, that leave us time to market and spend doing other things besides recording for peanuts. We want to build a business based on quality, integrity, trust, and honesty. And that will take you further than building a discount house for VO. It's your business. You can run it however you choose. But I want to encourage you to take the high road and help all of us pave that road with the best rates instead of a road full of potholes from all the cheap pavement. Meaning if you build a business based on discount and low prices, it's all you're ever going to do. You'll dig a hole you can't get out of, most likely. Educate yourself. Keep the GVAA pulled up and refer to it every time you audition for a job, every quote. You won't always get the work, but you'll walk away knowing you took the right professional approach. You took the high road and you supported the industry. It's up to us, all of us, to decide which way we want to go. When you get into this business, you have choices to make. You're going to make wrong choices. I made wrong choices. I'm about ready to enter my 4th year of full-time voiceover work. I have not had to turn the lights out. I have not had to borrow money to stay afloat. I have increased my income every year, although this year not as much as the first couple full-time, but that's kind of to be expected because I was building a base of business. Now I have it built. Now my focus is going on intensifying this next year, upping the coaching game, getting to a couple of coaches I wanted to get to before that I couldn't. And now that I have this base built, I think I can. And then I've reevaluated this year my agents. I have reduced down to literally 2. I have 3, but I feel like there's 2 that mainly send me stuff. And I believe in them, and I think they believe in me. Now, this has been a terrible year for me booking with agents, but this has been a fantastic year for me building my base business and building my direct business. The month of November, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I was a little over 70% direct and about 25% from online casting. And that little bit that was left, 5%, was a sprinkling of some other online casting stuff that's, throwaway. It's, leftover stuff from 2-3 years ago that just hasn't cleaned itself out of my mix yet. But day by day, week by week, and year over year, I have tried very hard to be more, what's the word I want to use? I want to say ethical. And I think in a way that's what it is. We should be ethical to the rates. We should feel like we are a fiduciary. We have a fiduciary responsibility to those rates, and we should really stick to it. Keep in mind, there's more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to negotiating. You don't ever have to go back and say, that is a $10,000 job and you're only offering $500. No, the thing to do is tell them what the percent is. Do the division. You're only offering 2% of what that job's worth. Is there any way we could get that up? And, could we jump on a Zoom call and could I show you the GVAA rate, for what this is? Maybe the usage is incorrect. I mean, can we talk about usage and terms? Maybe you're saying in perpetuity, but you're not going to run that forever. And, forever is a long time. And really, maybe you only need it for 3 months or 6 months or a year. We see this all the time, and we just have to be aware of it and know how to handle it. So let me go back real quick and summarize. No more pay to play. You're not playing. Online casting. This is online casting sites, whatever you want to call it. Be ready when you go on there. Don't go on there early. Don't go on there till you're ready. Let somebody vet you and make sure you're ready. Coach, good coach, reputable coach. Don't have one? Let me know. I know some people that I would send you to that I trust. I won't broadcast it here, but there are people I trust that I would send you to, and they will screen you and see if you're ready for them. And that's the best kind of coach. Secondly, don't give it away. Once you start into this and you're ready, don't give it away. Know your worth. Use GVAA. Stick together. Negotiate. Learn to negotiate positively. Learn to negotiate effectively. Learn to do it without making people mad. Yes, you will lose some of those negotiations, but you will also win some of them. You will find that the discussion was $1,500 for this spot, but we're thinking about it maybe 2 other spots and this, and you may come back and negotiate, hey, how about this? For 1 year, I'll charge you this, and you can make up to 5 spots out of what I do. Or for, 1 year, I'll charge you this and you can make 3 spots. And if you want to do more than that, let me know. And if you want to renew it at the end of the year, it'll be the same price plus 10%. And hey, I'll even throw in, as Charles said the other day, I'll even throw in, a 1-hour session, no extra charge, which you probably would do anyway, but they may not know that. Make it appealing for both of you, and it'll help. I can't wait till Charles puts all this together, because we know he's kind of working on it, and he is the master. He is the Jerry Maguire, the master of the living room, or whatever it's called. He is so good at this, and hopefully he will have some material out, or however he's going to do it. But do all of those things, and like I said, stick with that GVAA or gravy for the brain. Stick with it. Try to always get those rates. And I understand you want to work, you want to build a base, but go do those things like I mentioned earlier, whether it's audiobooks or YouTube narrations or local stuff. If you can get some local stuff that may be a little bit under rate, but it's not stuff you're out there broadcasting. You're not posting about it. Hey, I booked this and I booked this, and it's not all about you putting stuff on social media, what you booked. It's all about all of us sticking together, holding these rates so we can have a future in this business. I don't want to work myself to death for a small amount per week. I want to do good quality jobs, get the rate that I should get, and focus on keeping that core business built so I can do this for a few more years, and that's the goal. So let's all stick together. Let's have a wonderful end of the year. I may be back once more. I may not. Just depends on what goes on, if I'm going to have this back surgery or not. The insurance stopped it, and now it's under appeal, and the doctor says he feels confident and he's going to get them to approve it. But we'll see. I really don't know what's going on. But it's been a heck of a year with everything that's went on with that. My wife having 2 surgeries, one on her lower back, and then one just recently on the upper, like right below her skull. And geez, what a climb we've had. And then, a remodel, refencing and things out here, and a lot of the stuff we do ourselves. So it's been crazy. And mixed in with all that, you're trying to run a legitimate voiceover business and keep that thing not only afloat, but in very good condition. And and then show up at some conferences and present, and then show up to go to learn and get educated. Whew. This voiceover's harder than what it looks, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It really is. Thanks for joining. Hopefully we'll get one more in before the end of the year. As you know, we totally wound down another VO podcast. That's all done. With the invitation for Charles, Alden, and Jake to jump on here with me anytime they can, this probably would have been a great episode for one or two of them to chime in. And the four of us still in touch all the time, even especially with things like this. But have a great one. If I'm not back, have a wonderful holiday, a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, a Happy Hanukkah, all the things that are going on. I can't remember all the different names of everything, but I send you all my best and my blessings. And I will see you next time soon, hopefully sooner than later, right here on the VO Life.
This has been the VO Life with Troy Holden on Spotify, Apple, Google, and more.